In this lecture, let us talk about how to execute a Python program. So in the previous video, I talked about if we search about Python, we get several type of options. One is the desktop app, we have then IDLE, then we have some module documents. So what all these are? So let me clarify that. There are few different options by which you can run your Python commands. The first one is Python command line windows. That is the exact option that we tried in the earlier lecture. So just click here. So this is the windows that is by default given by Python, and you can run all the codes here. That is some basic codes. Because once you start working on big files, once you start working with different libraries, we'll be moving towards the file system, we'll be moving towards the editor, that is IDE system, and that will help us to simplify our file system. So this is the Python command line windows. You can perform some basic tasks, like let me write my first code here. So if I want to write print hello world, all I have to do is just give me print statement, and you can see it's just printed. And if I just want to do some basic calculation, maybe 3 plus 5, and you can understand that this is the basic command line prompt which is used to do some basic Python stuff. At this point of time, this is the basic medium by which you can do some basic Python coding. The second thing is Python IDLE. That is, they have provided us a graphic window which is quite easy, and it defined with different colors, and I hate it because the background is white, and as a programmer, as a developer, something that is white, you will hate it. And I'm sure once you start working with Python, with any language, and you start working with editor, that is IDE, you will start loving the black color. Let me search Python here, and you can see this IDLE option. Just click on the option and you will see something like this. This is our Python shell, which is quite similar to what we were doing with the previous command window. And here you can also perform the same step if you want to do print hello world. Let me type it out. And now you can see the color difference. This is the important thing that you need to keep in mind. All the IDs make our life easier. They define everything with different colors, and also they help us to complete some things. So if I write print again, and you can see they have given me several options regarding my value, regarding the separation, and all the things we will be talking about in new lectures. But at this point of time, you have to understand why an ID like this is important. So if I just want to write hello world again, or something like hello only, or hello students, now you can see it clearly defines different thing, and this will help us to perform tasks in a better manner. The next option is directly from system prompt. So if you are working on Windows, you might have command prompt, and if you are on Mac, you might have the terminal. So all you have to do is just do cmd and just open this particular command prompt, and here you can write Python, and this will now enter into your shell mode, that is Python shell mode, and you will also see the Python version. And if you want to exit at any point of time, all you have to type is exit and then open and closing parenthesis. And similarly, if you want to exit from your Python shell, you have to perform the same, and that would do your task. And if you want to save this task or kill this task, that is your choice. You can also try quit, and that would also do the same step. So these are some basic methods that you can do. Is the first one is your Python command line window, the second one is the Python IDLE, which is the graphic window, and the third one is your CMD. Now if you have a Python file that ends with .py, at that point of time only your command prompt will be useful. Let me give you an example. Let me open my notepad, and yeah, no developer code in notepad, I am just doing that so you can understand. And if you have any code and you have .py file, and if you want to run any project, any application, at that point of time your CMD will be useful. Let me create a basic py file and then we can perform. So in this py file, let me write. So this is the basic code that I have written, and now I have to save it as .py. So all I have to do is let me save it somewhere. So now I just created my .py file, that is my first .py, in which I have something to print. And if I want to run this particular file, I can only do that with my system prompt, that is my CMD. And if you are a Mac user, you can use your terminal. So open your terminal, that is your command prompt on your desktop. You can use your Control Shift and then the right key and click on open command windows here. And you can see I have my windows in my desktop folder. Now all I have to do is write Python, then the file name, that is first.py, and click enter. So here you can see I have the text. This is a .py file which I have mentioned in my first.py. So this is how you run your .py, that is your Python file. So now I hope you understand how to run your first project or how to write your first command. And there is one last and important method that no one usually mentions, that is your online shell. These shells are really important if you want to solve any problem, if you are into competition online. So these shell work exactly the same like you are working on your desktop. So the only difference is you cannot create files, you cannot download application libraries here, but you can perform similar steps. If you want to print something here, so let me print this is online shell and then run this command. And you can see that's working exactly fine like on my desktop. So I hope you understand how to execute your Python file, your .py file, and how to use ideally your command prompt to run your Python code. And I hope now you understand how to print hello world. So all you have to do is write print, open parentheses, your quotation symbol, then the text that you want to print, again your quotation symbol, and then the closing parentheses. And now you can print something in your Python shell. So that's the task that you have to perform now, and I hope you understand this. In the next lecture, let us talk more about Python.